Hey, all right, welcome back to Raff's Brain, a show about things that are interesting to me. I am your host, Rob Raffety. Thank you so much for being here today for episode number 2, Operation Retina Rescue, Desert Adventures, and the Lazy 5K. Today is August 24th, 2024. Quick disclaimer before we start the show. Hey, folks, just because it's interesting to me doesn't necessarily mean it's interesting to you. So enjoy it or don't. Either way, it's cool with me. Thanks so much for stopping by. Now let's get to work. What's on tap? What's on tap for this show, Raffety? Well, we're going to start off, as always, with some stats and lessons learned, because statistics and metrics can be used to better understand and improve the product. So we're going to do that a little bit to kick it off. Every episode, that's the plan, at least for now. Then I got to tell stories. I got to do Operation Retina Rescue. Yes, it's a little nuts, man. I went to the eye doctor. I got to tell you about it. And then Desert Adventures, my time out in Phoenix, Arizona. A little work-related conference. I had a great time out there. I'm going to tell you all about that, including my aspirations to launch a Raff's Brain 5K. We're going to call it the Lazy 5K. I'll tell you how that came all about. And then we're going to discuss the horizon, what's on the future. Well, we got the month of banjo coming right around the corner. Oh, yeah, folks, September, I'm going to kick it off. I'm going to start learning how to play the banjo. And then I'm going to give you a quick update on my birthday plans. Oh, yeah, live stream action is looking promising. So here we go. First up, stats, the statistics, lessons learned. Yes, folks, we are incremental progress. Slow and steady wins the race. I got YouTube. I'm on YouTube Podcast. I've got Buzzsprout kicking it out to all the distribution platforms. And then I'm also cranking out some YouTube Shorts and TikToks pretty regularly to help, just saturate the social streams with the Raff's Brain content to draw in new listeners. At least that's the theory. I'm not sure that it's working. That's where we're going to get into lessons learned. But first, just from the top line numbers, it's fine. It's doing well. So far, I got 34 total views on YouTube across 2 episodes. And then it's like 17 per episode, not too shabby. On YouTube Podcast, I got 19 views. On Buzzsprout, got 20 downloads. And on the shorts, because I've been cranking out YouTube shorts. Basically, I use this tool that cranks them out for me, and then I pick a few of the ones that I like best. I throw them in there and see what happens. And 10 videos, YouTube shorts, 126 views across those. That's not too shabby. And on TikTok, I got 14 videos. Listen to this, 838 views. Man, TikTok certainly has a reach, certainly has an audience. Seems like I get pretty good numbers on there. I'm just not sure any of this converts. Am I wasting my time by trying to push so much content? If think about it. I'm recording here on YouTube. If you're watching me right now, that means you're probably watching YouTube or YouTube Shorts. I'm also pushing out the audio content, and then I'm making these little, clips of the show as well. I don't know what the point of that is, other than to try to recycle and repurpose and repackage the time that we're together in various ways. I don't know how people consume information, and I want to reach them where they are, whatever that looks like. I also should, as a quick aside, I should mention I've been recording these hot yoga problems episodes. I have 3 of those out so far. I'd love your thoughts on them. Those have, they're not on YouTube because I don't do any slide decks for hot yoga problems. The concept there is just I'm recording top of mind thoughts on my drive back from my hot yoga studio. I go to 3-4 times a week. So it's a fun, easy way to create some content and share my passion for hot yoga. But I have 41 views of those 3 episodes on YouTube and 12 downloads from Buzzsprout. So anyway, I'm happy with the progress, but there are some lessons learned. And primarily, coming into this episode, I want to mention to you that I think my shorts and TikToks look like trash. Absolute garbage. And the question is why? Why are my TikToks and shorts looking like trash and garbage? It's because my slide decks that I use on YouTube don't translate well into vertical video. It's just such a funky game out there. You have to be more strategic. So what am I going to do about it? If it's like step 1 is identifying the problem. you gotta now do something about it. So I'm going to try something else. I'm going to mix it up a little bit in the slide deck show today. If you're watching on YouTube, you will certainly notice it. I'm going to use images that cover the right-hand side of the screen or the entire screen at times, just so that I get more visual imagery on the short. So, just for context, the short is a vertical video, and it probably gets about a third of a slide from a slide deck. And in this case, the right third of the screen, where my sort of Wheel of Fortune style video is projected using the loom.com tool. But I need to get more visuals up there in the right hand side. That's going to happen. You're going to notice it, and then we're going to see how it translates into the shorts, and then we're going to hope those numbers go up in the shorts and Tic Tacs, and maybe that'll lure some more listeners into the base product. That's the plan, because that's the opportunity to make the visuals look better, make the verticals pop. If I can do that, maybe I'll get some more, expand the audience. That's the goal, slow and steady, right? But where am I going to get these visuals? That's the challenge. I don't want to invest too much time, but I had some thoughts on it. Pexels.com, Pexels.com. It's like, rights-free photography, and it's all very high quality, so I'm going to use some of that. I'm going to crank out some ChatGPT imagery. I enjoy that stuff. Quick and dirty. It's pretty fun. Sometimes pretty funky, but whatever. It's cool. And then I'm also going to start taking more photos myself. And so I'm going to incorporate photography from my own adventures that I reference here on the show and use that as a means of improving the shorts and Tic Tacs. So stay tuned, and we'll see how that goes. This is the Pexels website if you're watching. It's pretty user-friendly. You just look in there, and you can search anything. So for my first story, I was going to talk about, what was it called? The Retina reaction or something? Hang on, let me scroll up there and remind myself. What am I talking about today? What's on tap, Raffety? Operation Retinal Rescue. Okay. For Operation Retinal Rescue, I just put in the Pexels site retinas, and this is what came up. A bunch of pictures of eyeballs. Man, these are crowdsourced by excellent photographers all across the globe. And they're giving it up for free. You can just download these images and use them in any way you'd like. And you can ask, you can credit them. I will do that in the show notes. I'll credit any imagery that I use. I think I used one image, it turns out, for this show. And then I could also use ChatGPT. I made a request on ChatGPT. I need a realistic image of a retina with a hole in it. You'll understand soon why. It came back with something kind of funky. I don't know if it really worked, but the bottom line is I went in for my annual checkup recently. I hope you do that. Once a year, you should get your eyes checked. And, I'm 48 years old, so I'm pretty accustomed to this. It's pretty familiar. I don't have an eye doctor per se. I don't know the doctor's name, but I know where I go. It's very convenient. It's very, very nearby my office. And I want to, get the benefits, the healthcare benefits. I have good eye care benefits, so I figured I'd roll in there, get my checkup, see how things are going, and then take it from there. Well, lo and behold, they spotted some issues. But let's back up a second. When you go to an eye doctor, does anybody have anxiety about this? I hear about it on the radio, and I feel like dentists are the ones that probably elicit the greatest distress among the population. Like, people fear the dentist. I don't fear the dentist. I'm cool with the dentist. I have a great dentist. I like going. I go there twice a year. He crushes it, cleans my teeth. I have no problems. I happily go to the dentist. I enjoy that. The eye doctor, I always enjoyed, but I will be very honest with you. I'm starting to develop a little bit of eye doctor fear, or maybe it's hesitation. Because, man, I don't know about you, but the tools in ophthalmology seem to be just accelerating and changing. Year over year, I go back to their office, and they got some new contraption. And sometimes it's pretty wild and interesting. Other times it's painful. Like, all right, so you guys probably know how this works. You get in there, and then they have the doctor's assistant. I don't know exactly how, what degrees they hold, but they're going to run you through the machines. Like, hey, we're going to, get some of this basic stuff. Kind of like when you go to a doctor's office, they'll draw your blood, take your blood pressure, they'll weigh you. They do kind of like the basic, get the basic metrics on your situation, and then they hand you off to the doctor. So whatever that equivalent is in the eye doctor's office, I roll in there. This lady puts me through a regimen of machines. And I must say, it's impressive how you can just look into a box and it's a big blur. And then this machine you can tell it's assessing somehow it's, don't ask me how it works, but it sharpens the imagery and it becomes clear. And you're like, wow, somehow this little box that I looked into was able to assess and understand the issues with my eyes and correct that vision, and I guess give them a kind of rough or approximate sense of my myopic situation. But then there's these other things, man, like these puff tests. They blast air in your eye. What's that about? Man? I'm not living in a windstorm. I don't need that. I don't mind it. It tickles a little bit. I'm not overly sensitive, but it's annoying. And they keep getting different. This was a new one. It was used to you would lean your head into a machine and it would stick your eye and keep your eye open. Then they would puff in air. It was kind of funny. You'd laugh. Your eye would water. Hey, all right, you blinked. Yeah, no kidding. But now they had this it looked like a pen or a pencil with a needle, and she kind of has a little light on it, and she kind of probes in there and taps your eyeball. I'm like, what are you doing? Didn't even warn me. This is a new device. Can you explain this to me? I've never seen this before. I feel like it's Clockwork Orange. They're peeling my eyes back and jabbing me. What was going on? So it's already off to a rocky start. And then she's like, hey, we want to get some pictures of your retina. I was like, that's fine. Okay. I guess I've done that before, but this was extensive. It's a giant box. You lean your head against it, and you have to stare at this sort of crosshairs that's illuminated, and it's blue, or it's yellow, or it's green. And you have to get it to the green. And the hard part is you have to keep your eyes wide open, and you got to look at a certain direction to line it up, get the crosshairs lined up. And then the hardest part is the pressure of your forehead against the machine is going to trigger that light. It has to get you just the perfect distance before it does this scanning, blaring blast of light. And it's a line of light. It's not like just a light bulb that flashes. It's not a flash. It's a steady, almost like a Xerox type line, it's from left to right or right to left. I don't remember which, but it's like a really sharp, vertical, bright light that scans across your eye, and you have to keep your eye open. It's more than a second. It feels like it's 2 or 3. Maybe it's not 2. It's a split second. But boy, is it bright. And then you see the your eyes mess. It's totally, at that point, sore and painful, and you're crying. For me though, they just couldn't get it right. I was probably, 15 or so scans deep. They kept saying, oh, you blinked. Oh, I couldn't get it. Look down, look right, look left. I think they might be doing more damage just to get this picture. So, I don't like failing tests either. It's embarrassing when it's like, oh, that didn't work. Try again. They had some other technician came over there and had to hold my eye open with a glove. I'm like, dude, is this normal? Am I like a special, case? I don't want to be that guy. They finally got all the images. I went to the room, and of course you sit there, you're waiting for the doctor to show up, and I'm looking around the office. That's cool. I'm like, ooh, maybe I could memorize the eye chart. Could I memorize all these letters in advance and then just really dominate? I don't want to do that because I want to actually know if my eyes are poor. I do need glasses. This is a fact. I have terrible vision. It's always been that way. It's getting progressively worse. I'm not sure what I'm going to do about this, but I just was, contemplating all the ways that I could cheat. But I would never take action on that. I'm an honest guy. Doctor shows up. She's looking at everything's cool. Now, I don't know about you, but when you lean in to the mask, there's like a face mask, and then they have these lenses that they cycle through. Ding, 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 ding. And it's helping you assess, I guess, what your prescription strength needs to be. You do one eye at a time, and she can get it within a pretty good approximation of what it needs to be. But then as they're kind of fine-tuning, this is when it gets very stressful for me. It feels like a very important test. 1 or 2. And she's like, okay, now I'm gonna give you some options here. I'm gonna let you look through the lens, and I want you to tell me which one makes it clearer. 1 or 2. 1 or 2. And I'm going like, initially sometimes it's really easy. Oh yeah, 1. 1. 1. Yeah, I'm crushing it. This is easy. I'm acing this test. And then you get to 1 and you kind of stumble. You're like, oh no. 1. No, wait. Can we check that again? 1 or 2 or 1 or 2. And you can kind of sense this impatience in her voice. Like, oh, come on, dude. Just say a number. But I want to get it right. I want to get the right prescription, man. I want this to work. And it's kind of stressful. But eventually you get there. And I did explain it. I'm like, sometimes this is really tight. It's very close. I'm sorry. I can't always pick the number correctly. But anyway, I got through that. And then she, pushes the thing out of the way. Say, look, let's look at your retina here. Here's an issue. And she kind of circles in my right eye off to the side. This is what's kind of fantastical in a way. I would not have noticed this. It doesn't look like a tear in my retina. It doesn't look like a hole in my retina. It looks kind of blobby. But if she did, it's kind of cool that like the diagnostic capability to identify this little tiny hole. It's not a hole, she said. It's kind of like just a thin spot. It could become a hole, could become a tear. That would be bad. You don't want a torn retina. I said, okay, well, she's like, well, we've been tracking this for the past few years. I'm like, well, that's nice. I had no idea. Thanks for looping me in. She's like, yeah, this looks like I'm going to have to refer you to an eye surgeon for a consultation because we want to stay ahead of this stuff. This is a small thing. And by the way, she also was very comforting. Rob, it's okay. This is very normal. Is it really normal to have holes in your retina? Yeah, this is very common. And here's what she said. As we age, this happens. And it's just, man, what a reminder that I'm getting old. I'm 48, almost 49 this fall. What happened? I never thought I'd have a hole in my retina. I have healthy eyes, man. I eat carrots, vitamin A. It's very disturbing. So sure, she gave me a script, and then I figured I'd schedule an appointment. But I will mention on the way out, this is where it gets good. So my insurance covers the visit, all this. That's fine. But they're like, hey, your prescription changed. Your eyes are getting worse. You might need a new pair of glasses. That's not even what they say. They say you need a new pair of glasses. There's no might about it. It is a hard sell. And I must admit, I'm a bit of a sucker. Because I'm like, okay, I'll sit down, I guess, walk me through the options. And I'll be very candid with you. I'm not a fashionable guy. I don't want to spend much time thinking about the different styles and, trying on the different frames. I'm like, listen, here are the frames that I like. Take my old frames and pop in the new lenses and we'd be good to go. Of course they can't do that. Oh, these frames have been discontinued. Well, that's convenient. But we can look for some that are similar. And we can get you a new pair in a couple weeks. Okay, fine. Let's look into it. So they find another pair of glasses. It's kind of brown tortoise frames. I have to confess, I like the new ones better. They're matte color, not glossy frames. They're matted. So it's a little bit, it's not quite as sharp. It's muted in terms of its appearance. It looks very similar to my other frame, but a little muted. And I actually like it better. So I'm down with it. And then they're walking, and they go, hey, this is where it was funny. The guy's like, you have great insurance. You have great insurance. You got like a $250 deductible or credit for frames and lenses. You're looking good. Let me price this out for you. Yeah, man, I have great insurance. Price it out. Let's do it. So he starts pricing it out. And then, of course, he's going through my prescription. He goes, oh, well, man, you have a pretty severe prescription. So I guess that, is a add-on cost. And then he's like, I noticed that your last glasses, you went with the deluxe glaze. What? Anti-Blu-ray or whatever. I don't know what the hell this guy's talking about. I'm like, yeah, I guess so. Only the best. Only the best for Rob Raffety's eyes. So he's like, typing in some numbers. You can never see what they're typing, so you're kind of like a little out of the curve. I would like a little more transparency in this process. Maybe they could flip the screen around and show me what he's typing in so it's not just gibberish. But he's like, tap, 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 tap. Hey, yeah, okay, well, it looks like I can get you a new pair for only $400. Oh, is that plus? Is that before or after the $250? Oh, that's after. These things would have cost like $650 plus tax. Like, what type of highway robbery is this? I didn't say that. I thought that. And then I took a deep breath and said, yeah, I could take the prescription and go to another store and get the frames filled. That's probably what I should have done. But once I get so far along in the process, I just feel like it's worthwhile to just bite the bullet and get it done. So I ended up paying out the nose for a new pair of glasses. That's not cool, but it is cool because when you get the new glasses, you feel sharp. At least for a few weeks, my glasses are clean and sleek, but it's pretty quickly they deteriorate because I don't know. I wear my glasses everywhere. I wear my glasses in the shower. Does anyone else wear their glasses in the shower? I wear my glasses in the shower. I wear my glasses to bed. I fall asleep with my glasses sometimes because when I wake up, I want to be able to see what's going on in the world, man. But if I do take my glasses off at night and I put them on the floor or something, it's like the dog's biting them and stuff. I mean, they get abused. My glasses have to be very durable. I should just be wearing rec specs. Can someone just pull that off? Could a professional white collar, beltway bandit just rock rec specs without any judgment? I'm talking like just wear it to work, wear it to a meeting, wear it to a presentation. Yeah, man. Like Kurt Rambis style. I might try that sometime. I kind of want to do it. That would be helpful because they last a long time, man. Rec specs are durable. Anyway, I didn't get rec specs. I just got my normal glasses, and they're good. They're doing the job, and I guess they have the best anti-Blu-ray glare or whatever coat that I was upsold. It's kind of like when you get your oil changed, dude. Now, the difference is when I go to the oil change, I just have a mental state, and I'm like, I'm not getting upsold. I'm just getting the oil change. I'm not getting all the other stuff, the air filters, the combobulators, the carabiner, whatever. There's just so much stuff. I don't know what you're talking about, dude. I go to those places, Jiffy Lube. They're just like going through this laundry list. Your manufacturer recommends a 30,000-mile checkup, tune-up, blah, blah, blah. A new belt on this, a new filter on that. Like, nope. I mean, I'm pretty good. I'm like a robot. No. All I want is an oil change. I'll deal with the rest some other time. But I don't have that fortitude at the eye doctors. I got pulled in to the idea that I needed to get those glasses. So I did, and I have them, and I'm happy about it. But I'm not happy about the fact that I have a hole in my retina. I have a small hole in my right retina, and I just had to go to a different eye doctor, an eye surgeon, to get a consultation. And guess what's funny about this? All the records, they had digital images that all the shots and pictures of my eyes that they took, all the diagnostics from the eye doctor that I just visited, You would think all that would be digitally transferred over to this new doctor, and then they could look at those photos and make it's like a second opinion, like, oh. But when I roll into this other place, it's like I'm starting from scratch. I go through all the little machines with the doctor's assistant, the puff test, the retina, blaring, blinding light scans. It was just like a week removed from doing this before. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention the whole like pupil dilation. That's not a cakewalk. That's crazy, man. Because when you do that, all this extra light's getting in your eye, and you start seeing things like visions. This all is, again, it gets back to this notion of eye doctor anxiety. There's got to be people out there that are on the cusp of saying it's not worth it, man. I would like to know the ratio between dentist aversion and eye doctor aversion. Is like, what's the Venn diagram on that? The difference is I will never not go to the dentist. I need clean teeth, man. I don't want to let my grill get all messed up. And same way, man, with eyes. Like even though it gets annoying and a little bit uncomfortable with the eye doctor, you don't want to not be able to see the world. That is a gift. Growing up, we used to think about, man, would you rather be deaf or blind? Well, no, I'd rather not be either of those. But if you had to pick, what sense would you lose? And I don't know. I really don't. Taste would be challenging. I love food. Smell is related to taste very much. So I think those are touch, feel. If you don't have that, what do you go with? Sight and sound. I don't know. Don't ask me. I could never really fully come down on it. I will say between sight and sound, I just think as much as I love sound and music and the sound of my own voice, clearly, I think vision is so important. I mean, you can see, you can get around. You don't need a cane or a dog. You can kind of see what's happening. People, the challenge is if you can't hear, you don't know if people are kind of creep up behind you. So it's a tough call. Anyway, I hope people are taking care of their grills and their eyeballs. And then I want to tell you that I do have to have apparently a procedure in the coming weeks where they're going to take a laser and solder the hole in my retina. And I asked about this. Is like, so what are you doing exactly? Well, this is like a thin part of your retina. We're going to do a little circle around it. It takes like very short period of time, 10, 15 minutes max. They laser my eyeball to solder the hole so that it doesn't rip in the future, because having a torn retina is apparently bad. And that would require much more sophisticated type of surgery and could even have longer term eyesight implications. But this laser soldering procedure apparently is, pretty common. I don't know. How can a doctor tell you that? I mean, I need more data on this. I'm doing a little bit of research on it, and I'm aware. Here's what I'm thinking. What's the risk trade-off on this? Are you guys familiar with this? Are you digging it? What is the risk trade-off on eye surgery, retinal surgery? Because on the one hand, the risks of having the surgery are probably pretty low, but they're there. Anytime you say the word laser and eyeball and retina in the same sentence, I feel like there's something that could go wrong. And it got me thinking, like, what about all these places where they have earthquakes occasionally? Remember that earthquake we had here? That was like 10 years ago in Northern Virginia. The room started shaking. I was at the office. I'm like, what's going on? I thought someone was like operating heavy machinery outside. And then, wow, earthquake. That was wild. Tremors like that happen all the time out West Coast. So how about that? Like, you're getting laser eyes out in San Fran, and they get a couple tremors there, and does do they automatically shut off the laser? I don't know. I have questions. That's all I'm saying. I have questions. So What are the risks of the eye surgery? What are the risks of not having the eye surgery? And this is what he said, like, hey man, these types of little small holes in your retina, thin, it's not even a hole yet. It's more like a thin layer that they've identified. It's kind of thinning over the years, sort of like people lose their hair. I'm glad my hair is thinning actually. That's a separate story. It's still there. It's still decent. But I guess like when you get old, that's the thing. It's a thinning. Thin hair, thin retina. It's all the same thing, man. So it's what happens when you get old. Thin. Did they talk about that? Did Stephen King hit that up in Thinner? The only thing that doesn't get thin is my body. It's like thinning hair, thinning retina, chubby body. It's hard to get thin when you're this age. I don't understand it. But the risks of having this surgery are small. The risks of not having the surgery are also small. I mean, he told me, look, most people, it's not going to develop. It's not going to cause a problem. But if you don't want a detached retina or a tear in your retina, that would be a much more perilous situation. So I guess it's a preventive measure. I've scheduled it. It's on the books for kind of mid-October. I want to do some more research on it before I commit. I did schedule it just to get on the calendar, but I should probably look it up and make sure I know what I'm getting myself into. Because the other thing is, I wonder about, and this is funny, like the referral process itself. Does the referring eye doctor get a slice of the surgeon's payment if they proceed with the surgery? It's like, I found this dude. I got this crazy guy, Raffety, and I shipped him over to you, and he signed up. And then, by the way, the insurance is paying for all this. I don't even know what it costs. So there's like no transparency in the process whatsoever. I just know I should probably get it. But the guy's like, of course he's going to recommend it to me, right? What's his risk? He just wants money. No, I'm sure they want to save my vision or whatever. I don't want to, I don't want to throw any of these doctors under the bus. I like the medical profession, but I think the way that we pay for it is just so convoluted, and it just disrupts all the price signals that could help people make better and more informed decisions. That's all I'm getting at. So yeah, I'm scheduled for surgery. I'll keep you posted on how this goes. I'll take better pictures at the venue, and I'll do a feature story if I can. Let's move on to my desert adventure. Yeah, I was out in Phoenix, Arizona for a work conference recently. It was a great time out there. I was there from a Sunday to a Thursday. And I got to tell you, I'd never been to that part of the country before. And unfortunately, I didn't get to see it that much. This was an off-site. It was kind of like half an hour outside of Phoenix. So you land at the airport, you get an Uber, they take you to your hotel, and it's a resort, and you're basically on location for the entire time. I was busy from the moment we landed. I had things to do, and then I had to, from wheels down to wheels up, it was work. And I'm okay with that. Maybe I should have extended the stay a little bit just to take advantage of being out there. I'd never been to that part of the country. And then again, a kind of recurring theme this entire trip was, why the heck are we out in Arizona in August? The temperatures were insane. I looked on my phone before I went out just to get like a forecast, which I never trust, but it's just like directionally, what's it going to be like out there? Saturday, 111. Sunday, 109. Monday, 112. Tuesday, 114 degrees Fahrenheit. Wednesday, 105. Thursday, 105. Yeah, so it's going to cool off by the end of the week, starting from 111 on Saturday, high of 114 on Tuesday, but it's going to be like temperate on Wednesday and Thursday. You have something to look forward to. Give me a break. I had no idea this is what people were dealing with. Why are human beings even in this part of the country? How did this happen? I mean, I was blown away. The good news is the modern world has protected me from this. Even when I was out there, I knew when I stepped outside, the few times that I exited the hotel, I knew it was hot, but I didn't have to endure it for very long. They did a great job with the AC. It was kicking. It was probably a cool, comfortable, 69, 70 in my room the entire stay. The hotel was very accommodating. It was a very, very nice venue. And I was busy the whole time, so I never really spent much time outdoors. But holy moly. What a what a place to be. Oh, but it got me thinking, they must have got a great deal on that. People, what are you going to Phoenix in August for? Probably because it's a great rate, like I imagine it's very costly to throw these types of events. You got 1,500 or so attendees, big conference. Give them a good rate. Yeah, man. So good time of year to be out in Phoenix, apparently. I enjoyed it. Great conference. I won't go into the details of that too much. But I will say one of the official conference events was the 5K for Freedom. Yeah, the 5K for Freedom. That's right. A 5K race, 3.1 miles around the hotel. Basically had you traipsing around the golf course. A loop. And for some unknown reason, why did I do this? I signed up for the 5K for Freedom. And as you can see here in my photo, I was wearing my earbuds. So I want to start the story by just asking you, what do you think I was listening to during my run? The 5K for Freedom. I knew I had to be distracted. First of all, you should know, I don't run as a thing. That's not my preferred form of exercise. You all know I'm a hot yoga fiend. I'm not a cardio fiend. In fact, I'm kind of cardio averse. But I felt like this is a good opportunity to step it up in a public setting. You had that social pressure to finish when you have people around you. There were like 100 people in the race. Some of them were very intense and very serious. I had one goal in mind. Don't die. Don't collapse. Just make it to the end. And I did. So I was very happy about that. But backing up, I'm listening. I knew I needed distraction. I knew I needed something to distract me from the pain and agony and heat and gasping breath. So what do you think I was listening to? Fish? Yacht Rock? Gary V podcast? Or Raff's Brain? What do you think I was listening to? We're going to visit that at the end. But those are your options. Think about what I need in a moment like this to survive, to thrive, to dominate. That really wasn't the goal. The goal was just to not die. It was a good time. I saw some old friends at the conference, and that's always a lot of fun. The course itself was beautiful. It was very plush. It was very lovely. It was hot out, but it was early in the morning, 6:30 start time. Still at 6:30, it might have been like 80, 90. I had my phone with me, and I was taking some snaps on the route here. I got one about every mile and a half, and enjoyed it immensely. A lot more than I thought I would. Probably because of what I was listening to more than anything else. I did enjoy a couple sections were carved out like tunnels. And that was like a respite from the sun to jog through a tunnel. That's not a normal thing. I don't do that a lot. I don't jog a lot, but then the tunnel jog is cool. I was kind of wondering, have you ever jogged through a tunnel? You can hear your footsteps echoing, and you can see the light at the end of the tunnel. It's getting closer because you're making progress. There's something psychologically very satisfying about it. That's all I'm saying. I want more tunnel runs. I want to know, are there tunnel runs in this country or other countries? I might be motivated to run 5K or 10K if it was entirely in a tunnel, an underground run. That's got to exist somewhere. Or maybe that's a way to rejuvenate interest in some of the urban transit systems that are having challenges with ridership and stuff. Okay, maybe one slow afternoon, you can shut down one half of the tracks and make it just a tunnel run. I want to run in the DC Metro system. This is a genius idea. Think about it. How many people would love to run through and around the entire blue line or the orange line here in DC? That's got to be miles and miles of track. Now you got to turn off that third rail. No, you don't want any crispy critters there. You got to make sure that no one gets zapped. But I'm telling you, a tunnel run, that would be money. I also wonder though, if you're in the tunnel for too long, you don't see the light at the end of the tunnel, that might get depressing. So I may have to revisit this, but I'm just telling you, I love the tunnel. I'm a big fan of tunnels now after this experience. This was a short tunnel that I experienced, but it was probably like 100 yards now, maybe like 50 yards. I want a lengthy tunnel run. I think that would be rad. Just throwing it out there in case anyone's got some connections. I did finish the race. Like I said, I didn't die. And then I ate bagels immediately afterwards. That was a pleasant way to wrap it up and to undo any of the health benefits that I received. Because after any run, you got to carb up. I carb up before and after. That's my strategic advice to anyone who's contemplating a race. My time in the run was about 40 minutes. So it's something like, what is that? 3.1 into 40. It's more than 10 minutes. 11 minutes would be 33. Oh, my time's pretty slow. I will confess, I think there was a walker who beat me. Now, here's the thing. I jogged. I did not stop jogging. I committed to this illusion of running. A very, very slow and steady jog. And by the third mile, or maybe like mile 2.5, I was seriously gasping for breath. But the music got me through, and so let's remind ourselves, what was the music? Oh shoot, I didn't ask that question right, and I feel like you think I've tipped my hand because I was just saying what music was I listening to. Realistically, I'll tell you, it wasn't music. So that should eliminate two of the options. It wasn't Fish or Yacht Rock Review. Was I listening to the Gary V podcast or Raff's Brain Hot Yoga Problems podcast? Come on, folks, you know me, Gary V. I was listening to all these great tips about digital marketing and social media mastery. And I just can't get enough of the Gary V content. It did help the time pass. It was like a 40-minute keynote address that he gave, and with some Q&A. It was definitely helpful to get me through the hardest parts of that 5K. I wonder if anyone else listens to like talks during a 5K, like TED Talks or something. No, usually you're listening to music. Not me. I listen to Gary V. And then this got me all excited about the idea. I hadn't run a 5K in a long time. Maybe Raff's Brain could evolve to a point where I actually have my own 5K event. I kind of actually started thinking maybe I should be running more. Maybe if I could run like a 5K a week. This could occur through committing to local races where you put some money down and you get a bib and you have other people around. You have water stations and you get bagels at the end. That's a way to do it. That's a motivation, a commitment. Or I could just do my own 5Ks and basically make public announcements about it. I'm going to start here and go to there. And if anyone wants to join me, it becomes the Raff's Brain 5K for sloths. Oh, man. I don't know. But then I actually it reminded me of an old joke that I said, it's probably like 15 years ago. I participated in something called the Funniest Fed contest. When I was a federal employee at the Consumer Product Safety Commission, they had a Funniest Fed contest for stand-up comedy. I didn't make it too far. I had a good time with it. But it might be one of my best jokes of all time. Well, which is not much for Raffety, but like, I think it was something like this. Hey, anyone like to run out there? I just ran a race last weekend. Do you hear about it? It's the Washington, D.C. 10K for Arthritis. Yeah, it's a great race because, while you're raising money for scientific research, you're simultaneously advancing the very condition in your hips, knees, and ankles. Yeah. Sponsored by Advil. After the 5K or after the 10K for arthritis, I rolled down to the gummy bear binge for diabetes, and then the Philly cheesesteak eat-a-thon for obesity awareness. Yeah, I'm a charitable guy. That was the joke. I haven't said that in a long time. Clearly, it's a little bit unpolished. But that got me thinking maybe I could even do a Raff's Brain 5K for arthritis. Not because I want to raise money for arthritis research. It's going to be more like for arthritis. The 5K for arthritis is for the participants to get this condition. Actually, we could call it the lazy 5K. Raff's Brain, lazy 5K for arthritis. I like the idea of it. I think it might have to happen. It might have to happen. Stay tuned, because I might be just announcing and posting on some other social platforms, hey, once a week I'm going to run a 5K, and these are the places I'm starting and finishing. And if you're in your neighborhood and you want to join me, just know that it's going to be a slow jog. I'm a jogger. I'm not a runner. I'm a slow jogger. So pacing could be a little challenge for more competitive listeners out there. But yeah, keep an eye out for it. Raff's Brain, lazy 5K for arthritis. It could be a thing or not, but it's an idea. I know what you're thinking, like, okay, Raffy, that's cool. You had the 5K for arthritis, whatever the thing you did, the conference. How'd the conference go? Well, the conference was awesome. Got to reconnect with a lot of old friends. I would say the conference was a missed opportunity on two fronts. I should have set up times to interview and chat with some of the great people all across the country who had gathered here at this conference. Even if I had 5-10 minute conversations with them about things they enjoy, shared interests, that would have been great content for a show. So I blew that. I choked on that opportunity. And secondly, I was on a panel talking about internal communications, which is what I do for a living. And that went really well. And I'm very happy with my performance at that event. But of course, because I was a little anxious and not thinking clearly, I didn't record it. Dang it. I should have recorded that. That could have been great content for some side episode on internal communications, which is something I'm quite passionate about. I really do believe most organizations need better and more internal communications. So that was that. It was a good time. I enjoyed it, but I wish I could have snagged more content. Life is an opportunity to snag more content. Let's face it, almost any encounter you have, any event that you attend, any journey you embark upon, even if it's just to the neighborhood grocery store, that can be a moment to snag content, stories to share with the world. That's how I'm thinking. That's how I'm starting to think about Raff's Brain. It becomes kind of like a weekly or every couple of weeks, just a dump of the different things that I've experienced that have triggered thoughts and ideas in my mind. So that's where I'm going with the direction of the show at the moment. On the horizon, what's coming up in the future episodes? Well, I decided that for Rob Raffety, September will be banjo month. Yeah, that's right. Why not? I just got my banjo restrung and tuned up from a local bluegrass legend. And he said, this is a very nice banjo, buddy. I said, yeah, you bet your butt. My dad got that for me when I graduated from law school like 24 years ago. So now's the time to dust it off, to get that Scruggs 3-finger pick style. I'm going to learn this, man. I'm going to do like 10 to 15 minutes a day, every day in September. It's kicking off. September 1st is banjo month. September 1st is banjo day. Is it? September 1st is the first day of banjo domination. It got me thinking, though, who's in charge of designating months? Like, different months stand for different things, right? Who makes those decisions? Is there a board? Is there a certification process? I want September to become banjo month. I don't care if the world doesn't recognize it. I recognize it. You recognize it. Let's make it happen. I'm going to do that. I'm going to start doing daily banjo live streams, or maybe not live streams, TikToks. I don't know what I'm going to do to document this. I have to prove that it's happening. I have to make sure the world knows, to hold myself accountable to this. 10 to 15 minutes a day. Even the gentleman who I went to fix my banjo, he said, it's better to get repetitive and small incremental daily lessons in versus like 1 or 2 days a week for 30 minutes or an hour. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm committing to it, and I'll have some evidence. If I record this on video, day 1, day 2, day 3, by day 30, I should see some improvement. And maybe I'll keep it going. Maybe it becomes banjo fall. I don't know. By the way, why aren't things more than 1 month? Sometimes it's like, hey, it's Cancer Awareness Month. It's Hispanic American Awareness Month. Okay, why can't it be a season? Maybe the fall is banjo season. We start a new thing, and it's like not just 1 month. It goes for like 3 months. September, October, November. I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there. Trying to improvise, trying to innovate. So Banjo Month is on the horizon. I'll be talking about that in a future episode, and I'll be documenting it and posting it probably on maybe TikTok and YouTube. I don't know. Got to figure out what the best platforms are for this sort of inane content. And then also, I'm very close to committing to a live stream of my birthday podcast. I had planned such an event, a live event, a performance last fall for my 48th birthday. That did not manifest. So I have some ideas mapped out already. If I can work on it, polish it, refine it just a little bit, tighten it up, I think it could be pretty good. So stay tuned for that. It's not like I've announced it yet. It's just possible. What I will say is if I do a dry run, if I get this together, I would like to do maybe a dry run or two of the show and get feedback so that when I crush it on 23rd, it's really good. Maybe I'd set up a live stream just for the listeners now. There might be a handful of you out there who would value or enjoy, helping me on the rough drafts of this. So stay tuned. Maybe next week or two I'll commit to that, and we'll find a date in September when I can test the live stream capabilities, go through a couple iterations of my stories, and see where things go from there. Reminder, this is a call-in show. So far, I've received 2 calls. Let me play them for you. Here's the first call.
All right, man. This is interesting. I'm just checking it to see if it works. I think it works. We'll find out. And hopefully, we'll get to use some of this content in the show in the future.
Here's the second call.
Just a test to see if this is working, if the number functioning, and also what happens when I hang up. Do I get alerted to a message, or do I have to go and listen to it? We're going to find out. All right, let's do it.
Hey, thank you for the first 2 callers of the show. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm thanking myself. I called in twice over the past week just to test and see what happens. And I did confirm that the line is set up. It's working. Anybody can call in. 571-408-8058. 571-408-8058. Pick a topic, make a statement, ask a question, give me some content, something to use on this show, something to react to. Tell me what you think so far. Where could I go with this? What stories do you want to hear? What could make this a little more compelling from your standpoint as a listener? I'm curious. And you have the chance to make history. I haven't had a caller yet. We're in the 3rd episode. I mean, it's episode 2, but that's because we started with episode 0. So we're still waiting for that first caller, man, and that could be a part of history. It could be you. But I did confirm that whenever someone calls and I get a message, it sends an email to me. So I will know the moment someone calls and leaves a message, I will have that knowledge and I will work it into a future show. That's just a little ask. If you're out there, 571-408-8058. All right. Well, that's it for this episode of Raff's Brain. Thank you again for joining me. I'll see you next time. Until then, have an exceptional day. Bye-bye.